Jai Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Stotrasta Shri Srimadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Stotrasta Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopiko Shama Kunda Radha कुंडगिरी गोवर्धन की जय. समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग की जय. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. जय श्री वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Religion, love and Srimati Radharani. Generally word religion is understood as some faith or belief. Another word in common in Western countries is that so they are considered as believers. Those who follow some religion, they are considered as believers. They are considered as believers. So, means there is nothing logical there, nothing philosophical there. So they differentiate between science, philosophy and theology. Theology is connected with theology is basically some religious beliefs. So philosophy is supposed to be very logical, rational, but it doesn't need any experimental proof, and science is based on experimental proof. So these are all different disciplines, but we can't apply this categorization with Vedic Dharma. So Vedic Dharma is science, it is based on logical philosophy, everything. So there is a divide between, so atheists, they blame that religion, or in the Western country, religion itself becomes cause of atheism. Because you have to just believe. So some intelligent people, they think that it is more rational to be atheist than believers. So because that means religion has come to being as a blind faith, basically. But actually faith doesn't need to be blind. It can be based on knowledge, it can be based on logic, it can be reasonable, it can be rational. So for instance, like today morning we were talking about that story Prabhupada used to tell, cobbler and the Brahmana. So that story of Brahmana and cobbler, Prabhupada used to tell. So we come to know there in that cobbler's belief in God, in superhuman activities of God, was based on knowledge. His understanding of inconceivable potencies of the Lord. So anyway, belief or whatever faith can also be based on knowledge, but unfortunately in the Western countries it has become a set of dogmas, and mostly people go to church with the idea of for their material well-being. So they have idea that God and his competitor, they are always fighting, Satan, God and Satan. So we have to go and vote for God, and in turn God will supply us our necessities of life. So basically it is, oh God, give us daily our daily bread. So there God becomes our maintainer, our order supplier. Of course, Prabhupada, he said that it is better to be this kind of theist than atheist. So it is one step ahead of atheism, but it's all materialistic. And like Prabhupada used to tell that how people were converted in Eastern Europe or Western Asian countries. So how communism spread. Prabhupada, he would say that in small villages where Christians were living, so communists used to go and challenge the innocent villagers, saying that you people go to church, oh God, give us our daily bread. So you go and ask him whether he will give you daily bread. When people went inside and came out, so they would challenge them, did he give daily bread to you people? So then when innocent villagers said no, then so these communists would supply them with lots of truckloads of bread, and in this way they broke the faith of innocent villagers in God. So in this way communism spread. So and people became atheistic. Of course now, so world has changed, scenario has changed now again. So these things, they come and go in different waves. But the point is that religion, just for the sake of bread and butter, is not such a high understanding of, very high conception of theism it is. Prabhupada also used to say that why we have to go to God just for our food, our daily bread, because God is maintaining so many living entities. He will not maintain us. Just like he would say that in the jungles of Africa, African jungles are known for elephants, huge elephants. So of course now I think they are not there. People used to kill them all. Anyway, in African jungles, so there are elephants, huge elephants, and they eat every day 200 pounds of grass. So such huge animal, which daily demand of 200 pounds of food, is automatically maintained by God. So why we have to go to God? Of course, I forgot to mention about that communists. So Prabhupada would challenge that where these communists are saying we are supplying food, from where they are manufacturing? Are they manufacturing their food grains in their factories? No. So ultimately we have to depend on God only. So if there is no rain, there will be no food grains. So however we make development and advancement, still we are dependent on God. That we have to know. But anyway, coming back to this point of religion just for the sake of food and butter and bread is not a very elevated high conception of theism. So elephants are maintained, so many living entities are maintained. We don't see any living entity dying out of starvation. Why human beings will not be maintained? So we don't need to go to God for such silly things. So of course in Vedic culture this problem was not there. Going to God so much just for the sake of food and of course everyone is concerned about their well-being, that's a different case, but point is this. So human society, they have created this food problem. It is such a low class organization or idea of living actually. Because in human society one should not worry about eating, sleeping, mating and depending. Like in animals, they are always concerned about where is food, where is shelter, where is sexual partner, so where is space to go and sleep, some security, protection. So they are concerned. If human beings are also always busy with these things, then we are not human beings. We are an animal society. So much now in modern society, people are talking about job creation, economy, all nonsense it is actually. So this is not even human society it is. So it's just like animals, running around here and there. So human society should be organized in such a way that there should not be anxiety and worry about eating, sleeping, mating and depending. So that is Varnashrama system, Vedic system, Varnashrama system, where one doesn't have all these anxieties. So no one was worried about their food. So in this way we see that human society should be organized like that. On that platform one can develop higher levels of theism. Otherwise we will be just concerned about, even if you are practicing religion, even if you are a believer, so your concern would be only bread and butter. Oh God, give us daily bread. So of course nowadays they are not so much concerned about it. Demons have made such a socio-economic system that people are not so inspired to go to God also for bread and butter also. Prabhupada said it is at least better than being an atheist. So, but people, they don't go even for that now, because the demons have created such a socio-economic system. We don't need religion for our bread and butter. But whether they accept it or not accept, but ultimately still, however atheistic they become, however materialistic they become, however demonic they become, still one has to depend on God. So that they have to understand. So for instance, with all these things, so many problems in the world, with all their so-called bombardment of development. Anyway, coming back to, so it is better to go to God for bread and butter than to be an atheist. But this is not a very elevated conception of religion. So Srila Prabhupada, he defined religion. So he defined religion. Religion means to know God and love God, he said. So this is even little more elevated. Little more elevated means it is very elevated idea of religion. So you know God, you try to know about Him, and then you love Him. So that is a Vaishnava conception of God. It is very advanced, especially Vaishnava conception of God. Among the Vedic followers also there are different conceptions of Ishvara. So every school has its own understanding of God. Sankhyayites, Nyayiks, Vaisheshikas, Mimamsakas. Everyone has their own concept of Ishvara. The word is used among them, is common word is used, is Ishvara. So everyone has their own conception of Ishvara. Advaitavadis, Advaita Vedantis, among the Vedantis they have. So there are Vaishnava schools, and then there is Mayavadi school, and they have their own conception of Ishvara, belief in God. And so among Vedic followers, Buddhists and Jains and Charvakas, they were considered as atheists. So like today we were discussing informally that there is different understanding of what is meant by atheism also. So like Charvaka is considered as atheism because he doesn't accept reincarnation. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya kuta purandagona bhavet. So in general understanding of an atheist here in India or among the followers of Vedic culture is that those who don't accept Vedic authority, they are considered as atheists. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he said, Ved namaniya bauddha haila nastik. So because they don't accept Vedas, therefore they are atheists. So now you see, now the understanding is little different in like what it is called as in there are 6 world religions, like Judaism is the old one. Of course they know Hindu, oldest. Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, then Christianity, Islam. How many are over? 5 are over. So Sikhism is another 6th one, I think. So these are world religions, and then there are so many subsects and all, small. So there are thousands of sects of Christians and all these kind of things. So in this way, they are considered as world religion. But actually, if you see Vedic understanding that Buddhism is atheism. So even if you take from even modern context, not from the viewpoint of Vedic followers, even if you take Buddhism is not a religion because there is no belief in God actually there. It's all shunya. Ultimately you have to become zero, nothing. So there is no conception of God there. So they cannot be. Religion means if it is a belief in God, but where is the God there actually? So in this way, they cannot be in strict sense, even from modern point of view, they cannot be called as religion, Buddhism. But anyway, so Vedic understanding. So among Vedic followers, Vaishnava conception of God is, Ishvara is very elevated. And of course among the Vaishnava Sampradayas also a reverential mode of worship of God that is there found in the Vaishnava Sampradaya, most of the Vaishnava Sampradayas. Krishna as God, he doesn't like that. God as Krishna, or Krishna as God, or God as Krishna. So he doesn't like that idea of worship in awe and reverence in Vaishnava Sampradayas. But it is very elevated, no doubt there. It's Anya Vilashita Shunyam. You go to God not just for so daily bread or something. Of course, they may have idea of liberation from material bondage. God will give us mukti, liberation from material bondage. But still, there is a heavy, strong dose of pure bhakti there. Pure love, bhakti, pure bhakti and servitude, you can say, more than love. It's more like servitude, it is. But it is not motivated. Although some contamination of mukti, desire for mukti may come, but it's almost not there. So, very Lord is supreme, He is our master and we are His servants, and our duty is to just engage in the service of God. So, there is love, there is love there, but not that kind of love, spontaneous love as which is discussed, which I will come, which is conceived in among the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this way, but God as Krishna and other His expansions, Narayana, Vishnu, etc., they will relish it. But God as Krishna doesn't like that worship in awe and reverence. So God is supreme. Awe and reverence, especially there would be a strong element of knowledge about His supremacy. So in this way, we see that so God is served with lot of respect, with understanding and knowledge that He is supreme, He has lots of potencies, energies, opulences, etc. So with a lot of reverential worship is there. So that is, for other forms of Lord Krishna it is acceptable, but for Krishna this doesn't give pleasure at all. So he doesn't like it at all. Because in Vrindavan no one knows that He is supreme. Everyone thinks that He is my friend, or He is my child, or He is my lover. That's it. They don't know that He is God or anything. Like Krishna is lifting Govardhana hill, and coward boys are also holding their stick there. And they say that no, you could lift Govardhana because we were also supporting it, we were also holding it, they say. At one point of time, Krishna just little bit lowers his finger when they are holding stick. So then immediately Govardhan is about to fall on them. So he makes, because now by hearing that okay, everyone was supporting with their sticks, people should not, atheists should not, non-devotees should not think that Krishna never lifted. Others also together they were holding it as umbrella like that. Even then also I don't know how you are going to conceive that people have lifted a mountain just to protect from the rain. It's something extraordinary, right? So, but anyway, Krishna shows that I am the lifter of Govardhana, I am Giridhari, I am Govardhana Giridhari. So like that he shows himself. But no one knows that he is God. No one knows that he is. So ultimately, if you come to this point, now in the material world, conditioned souls, they have forgotten God. In between, you know God, you understand God, you realize Him. Then again, in Vrindavan, in Vraja Bhakti, you have to forget Him that He is supreme. I mean to say, people have forgotten His supremacy, and in between you learn about His supremacy, then again you forget about His supremacy. But what is the difference in this forgetfulness in conditioned state and that forgetfulness? There is lot of difference. So presently we forget God out of our being influenced by external potency of the Lord, Mahamaya. Then there you forget out of being influenced by internal potency of the Lord. That is meant to give pleasure to Krishna. Here it is a perverted desire to dominate over material nature. So forgetfulness of Krishna's supremacy in conditioned state is due to our desire to dominate over this material world, desire to enjoy life independent of Krishna. So that is the difference. There it is meant to give pleasure to Krishna. So anyway, there is difference between that forgetfulness and present forgetfulness of God. Then coming back to point that so Prabhupada, he defined religion as to know God and to love God. What is how he derived this meaning of God actually, this meaning of religion. So it's basically based on Vedanta, and for knowing God means what? Athato Brahma Jidnyasa, first words of Vedanta. So ultimately it culminates in bhakti. So bhakti means to love God. Ultimate understanding of bhakti is to love God. So generally love in this world, so what is that love means? There is no actually love here. If you take in a technical definition, Atmendriya Priti Vancha, Tare Bale Kham, Krishnendriya Priti Icha, Dare Premanam. So desire to satisfy one's own senses is called lust, kama, and desire to satisfy the senses of Krishna is called as love. So mostly in this world, everyone is always planning, thinking what pleases, me, what pleases them. So no one is thinking what pleases Krishna. Like in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter, we come across Arjuna. His reasons for not fighting the war was based on his own sense gratification, his own material desires, his own material happiness. That this war is not going to bring any happiness to me. Then after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he understood, yes, I have to fight for Krishna. So at least Krishna said, even in Karma Yoga, people are detached from their fruits of action. So Krishna expected that at least come to Karma Yoga platform. So general message of Krishna, what is his message? That that at least come to the platform of Karma Yoga. If not, ultimate message of Bhagavad Gita is that one should fully surrender to Krishna, but at least to the platform of Karma Yoga. So be detached from fruits of one's action. So that is Karma Yoga. So we see that from beginning to end, be detached. Don't be attached to fruits of action. So in this way, again and again, Krishna was encouraging Arjuna to be not to be attached to his fruits of action. Anyway, so religion means to know God. It is based on Atato Brahma Jidnyasa, and Vedanta ultimately ends in Bhakti. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada, which is actually not appeasing to, it is not appealing to many classes of Vedantis, especially Mayavadis. So Prabhupada used to tell about his own name, Bhakti Vedanta. When they hear Bhakti Vedanta, Mayavadis, they are surprised because they think that Vedanta means always Advaita Vedanta. So our acharyas have analyzed Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says, first chapter of Vedanta talks about Sambandha Jnana. Second 2 chapters, there are 4 chapters in Vedanta. 4 chapters and then 4 adhyayas in each of 4. How it is divided? So 4 chapters are there, and within 4 chapters, what are they? Adhikaranas? No, adhikaranas are many. Adhikaranas, many adhikaranas are there. Because sometimes it is just one verse. First adhikarana is what? Jidnyasa adhikarana it is called as. Jidnyasa adhikarana, first sutra, Atato Brahma Jidnyasa. There is only in one adhikarana, only one sutra is there. So like that, there are many adhikaranas there. Anyway, so anyway, divided into 4 groups. Each chapter is. So our point is, first chapter is Sambandha Jnana, and second 2 chapters are Abhideya, and last is Prayojana. So ultimately Prayojana ends in Bhakti. Sambandha, Abhideya is also Bhakti, of course. So to know God and to love God, we have to love God means what? Bhakti means what? Bhaja sevayam. Bhakti comes from bhaja dhatu. Bhaja sevayam. And seva means, love means seva. So there is nothing called love without service, right? So you do service. Prabhupada used to tell that husband and wife was there, and husband went to office, children went to school. Some example Prabhupada is telling. So children went to school. In modern society, children go to school. So children went to school, and they returned back, and husband comes and sees that nothing is arranged, organized, everything is hodgepodge. So then he says, what happened, what is? And then she says, darling, I was thinking how much I love you, like that. Whole day she is sitting and thinking. These Western countries, of course, now this kind of scenario is something, it has changed the society. It's not that woman will be a housemaker now in modern society. So it all has changed. But family means children. Children means one has to be a housemaker, right? Not to look after children, etc. So this idea has changed a lot now, everything. So women are also into career for no reason. This career idea is just promoted just because you need, for capitalists they need workforce. to push them to work to make some capitalist, already rich capitalist, he will become more rich. So just to make some rich people even more richer, so people are thinking about career, this idea of career. So it's all bogus. It's just it's all self-serving ideas promoted by some elite class in the society. And foolish people think, okay, we are getting money and all this. We are getting a happy life. I can buy anything with my. So banks have all this EMIs and all this kind of things to make the banks rich. So in this way, life goes on. So Prabhupada, he said that it is not just think and imagine or I love you every day you have to say 10 times, 20 times to keep moving the wheels of family life. Or your relationship, keep continuing your relationship. So it doesn't, in Vedic culture it was not like that. You don't need to say I love you always, you just follow dharma. Dharma is the central point. So dharma is, it's like more of duty and responsibility. Of course there was love also, some kind, sacrifice, dedication, etc. So love means service, it is, and bhakti means service. So both love and bhakti, they are equivalent. So in this way Prabhupada, he defined religion as bhakti, and is to know God and to love God. And but in the material world there is no that lust we were discussing. What is promoted as, it's a very buzzword, love is in modern society. So it's a buzzword, and people talk a lot about it, and everyone has a say to it. And our dear friends in brotherhood or Bollywood, they make it very, it's some kind of Islamic idea, I think. A lot of Muslim actors and Muslims are there. It's a mixture of, Bollywood is what is, it's more largely it is mixture of Western materialism and some sentimentalism from Islamic world, it is. And sometimes they make something from Vedic elements and all. So more or less like that it's, and they promote all, they are brand ambassadors of Western idea of progress and everything. Whatever they set the trend, people have to follow it. Bogus ideas. Whatever style of clothes they wear, everyone has to wear that kind of style of clothes. Then more and more, I think they must be becoming naked now. We don't watch movies. So, so these people, cinema people, they make it love, what is mundane, so-called love in this world, as something divine and all this kind of things. Make it very divine and very what is like that. It's divine, and I'm not getting one word. So anyway, like that they make it. But actually God is love, not the other way. Love is God. So cinema people are making love is God. So but God is love, and love is, our all loving relationships are centered around God, and in that way, when we love God, we love everything and all living entities. So automatically that is included. It is all inclusive. So it comes your friend, your lover, your wife, your husband, or your family, your society, everything is included in that. So that is love. God is love. So this is a conception of bhakti in bhakti traditions, so that love, real love, is understood and it is manifested. So this is religion. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also analyzed people follow religion for 4 purposes. One is out of fear, another is because of material desires, third one is for as a duty, and fourth is for love, simply for loving. So fear, desire, duty and love. These are the 4 reasons why people follow religions. Fear, what is a fear actually? People are fearful, they are worried about their future or what will happen to them. Oh, God may curse us if we don't become believers. So in that way, out of fear they will, or fear of something in this world. So because of that they follow. And material desires, like we saw that people go to God for some material purposes. Then as a duty, so this is more seen in Vedic culture. This is my dharma, sense of dharma was very strong. And among many followers of different schools of Vedic culture, this is especially among the Mimamsakas, this point is very strong. Why I have to worship God, Ishvara, why I have to perform any sacrifices to please gods and demigods? So it is my dharma, it is Vedic dharma, Vedas are so driving force of life. So sense of duty is there. And ultimately love. So this is especially among the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the foremost follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, he has defined so gradual elevation to the point of love. From initial just belief, from faith to love. Right, we started with our discussion with religion means faith, belief. From that point up to the highest level of love. So he has very scientifically, so scientifically in the sense very logically, rationally, he has defined. This is a very advanced conception. It is even higher than most of the Vaishnava traditions understand. So in fact, if you take the word prema is actually love. What is the word for prema? Love in Sanskrit, it is prema. So preeti or prema, this is really wealth of followers of Rupa Goswami or Gaudiya Vaishnavas, followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is their contribution, because even in other sampradayas, that servitude is there, dasyam is there. I am servant and Lord is master, so their worship, but there is no strong bond of love there. So therefore it is really actually a contribution of followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami defines these 9 stages of bhakti: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava and Prema. So Shraddha means faith, attraction to serve Krishna. Then Sadhu Sangha, then you associate with devotees of God, devotees of Krishna. Then Bhajana Kriya, there is practice of devotional limbs, devotional practices. Then all those which are obstacle for loving God, loving Krishna, they are removed from the heart. Those bad attitudes, desires, etc. That is called Anartha Nivrati. Then there is steady cat. No, on the compound some cat went. So there is one engages steadily without any deviations. That is the stage of Nishtha. Then there is Ruchi, there is taste. One cannot live without practicing devotional service. Then later there is attachment to Krishna. Then there is bhava, that is ecstasy. Prabhupada translated it as so ecstatic loving of devotional service or ecstatic love. So then there is real love, prema. So in this way, from belief to the stage of prema, you go to that stage. So this is very systematically organized how we make progress. And there are different words used by Rupa Goswami for different things. He uses word raga for attachment, that is asakti. Then there is word rati, it is for bhava. Then there is rasa, which is for love. Raga, rati and rasa, these three are different terms for different stages of development of love. That means especially these last three stages of development love, which is asakti, bhava and prema. So he uses the word raga, rati and rasa. So in raga, rati and rasa, they are also, rati is also called bhava. There are different bhavas, especially there are 5 sthayi bhavas, it is. There are different kinds of bhavas, anchari bhava, vebhichari bhava, satvika bhava and sthayi bhava. 4 kinds of bhavas are there. So sthayi bhava means that is our original feeling for the Lord. So that is 5 kinds of sthayi bhavas are there. One is shanta, the second one is dhasya, third one is sakya, fourth one is vatsalya, fifth one is shringara. So these are 5 kinds of sthayi bhavas, and they only become when they are more mature, more intense, these bhavas, then they become rasas. So how it? So it is Prabhupada, he translated, how he translated. So he translated in English, that is Shanta Rasa, he translated as a love in neutrality. Then Dhasya, he translated it as love in servitude. And then Sakya, love in friendship. Then Vatsalya, love in paternal loving relationship. And Shringara is conjugal loving relation, what happens between. The perverted reflection of this is found in man and woman relationship of this world. It is a perverted, but this is all fully transcendental, fully spiritual. These have nothing to do with material relationships. So rasa also can be called as relationship also. So rasa. So in this way, 5 out of that, first one was is not so much considered in among the Gaudiyas, and it's more like a very neutral, meditative, not an active service to God. Then there is dasya. So there is difference. There is dasya in awe and reverence, which is found in other Vaishnava traditions. But here Rupa Goswami speaks about dasya in Vrindavan. So, and one by one, as we go on, so the intensity of love goes on increasing, and intensity of, so especially in the last one, Shringara has 2 divisions. One is Swakiya and another is Parakiya. So Swakiya means you become lover of God as his wife. So as we find, there were 16,108 wives in Dwaraka. So Krishna's wives in Dwaraka. So they are in Swakiya Rasa. Lakshmi Devi is not in Swakiya Rasa. She was married to Vishnu, but she is in Dasya Rasa, Lakshmi Devi. So because her love is, her service to God is mixed with awe and reverence, therefore there is no actually intense love there as found in wives of Krishna in Dwaraka. So then there is Parakiya. Parakiya means it's like extramarital relationship. So such relationships are condemned in material society, in dharmic society, of course. In modern society that is also acceptable. They have made such society. They can divorce later if they don't like each other as husband and wife, and catch on with other men and women. So in Vedic culture, so that was condemned, but this is completely spiritual and transcendental, because it involves very high level of sacrifice and dedication, because you are loving God at the risk of transgressing all the religious dharmic principles. So that demands lot of sacrifice and dedication. So like gopis in Vrindavan, they practice this kind of love for God. So they are married to other living beings, but they have loving relation with Krishna. So of course this is nothing to do with mundane sex life, etc. There is nothing sex between Krishna and his lovers. It's fully transcendental, it is fully spiritual, nothing to do with. It is very difficult to understand for people of this world who are in material consciousness. So in this way they have relationship with. So because it involves very high level of sacrifice and dedication, because in a dharmic society it is unthinkable to have an extramarital relationship. So it is not at all acceptable. And therefore this is very this involves a great risk, great sacrifice and dedication. Therefore this is considered as highest. So the intensity of love goes on increasing from one relationship to another relationship. So from servitude to friendship, friendship to paternal, and paternal to conjugal, and within conjugal from Swakiya to Parakiya, Parakiya Bhav. Our acharyas give example of how sugarcane juice goes on increasing its, it goes on becoming, how it is condensed to become sugar candy ultimately. Initially it is juice and then it becomes molasses, from molasses to sugar candy. So in this way it just goes on increasing. So similarly love goes on increasing in these relationships, and it ultimately culminates what is found among the gopis of Vrindavan. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he taught that, so the mode of worship which is conceived by the damsels of Braja is highest mode of worship, he said. So that is highest mode of religion. So because highest love is found there, which pleases Krishna more, it gives more happiness to Krishna. What is the principle? What pleases Krishna more? What gives intense happiness to Krishna? That is what matters. So now, we were discussing initial stage of understanding of, primary understanding of religion, from belief, from faith, to come to this level of love is it's a great achievement. It's a very far understanding of religion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore he said, Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajeshatanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Khachid Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Vakalpita. So Ramya Khachid Upasana Vrajavadus. So those who are damsels of Vraja, whatever mode of worship was conceived by them is called as highest. And again among all the gopis, so the love which was conceived by Srimati Radharani is highest it is. So the Madhurya, what we call as Madhurya, within that is Swakiya and Parakiya. So the Parakiya love finds its perfection in Srimati Radharani. So it is so great that even Krishna wants to relish that, and therefore he appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what morning we were reading that verse. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshatane. No, that's not that one. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikratir Ladini Shaktirasmad Ekatmanavapi Bhuvipura Deha Vedam Gatoto Chaitanyakyam. What I am mixing up to? Chaitanyakyam Prakatam. No, Chaitanyakyam Prakatam Aduna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhavaditi Suvalitam Navami Krishna Swarupam. So this speaks about Radha Tattva, who is Radharani. He says that Radha Krishna Leelas are because of Ladini Shakti, the personification of that Ladini Shakti, pleasure potency of Krishna. That pleasure potency itself is Srimati Radharani, and Krishna and Radha, they are one only, one personality. Ekatmanavapi Bhuvipura Deha Vedam Gataut. In the past they became two. For what? Just to enjoy a loving relationship between them. Now again they have become one. Chaitanyakyam Prakatam Aduna. Tadvayam Chaikyamap. Tadvayam means those two. That is Radha and Krishna. They have again become one in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then Radha Bhava Duti Suvalitam Navami Krishna Swarupam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared with two things he took from Srimati Radharani. Bhava and Duti, her mood. So he is Krishna himself. but he appears in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he has assumed the color of Srimati Radharani. Bhava and Dyuti. Bhava means her mood, Radha Bhava Dyuti means her color. Suvalitam Navami Krishna Swarupam. He is Krishna Swarupa. So Krishna himself, he appears, to understand that. So that is a perfection of Madhurya, Shangara or Parakiya Rasa is found in Srimati Radharani. So therefore, what she relishes is the highest mode of love. It is the highest mode of religious feelings, whatever religion. If you have any better idea of religion, if you take it it's just belief or faith. So we will just read from Chaitanya Charitamrita about this, what we discussed a little bit. So about I said about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his contribution of his followers. So prema or love is actually actual sense of love is a real contribution of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I will just read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 4, text number 41, purport actually. You want to share if you like. Okay, when Rupa Goswami met Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag, Allahabad, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya was more magnanimous than any other avatar of Krishna because he was distributing love of Krishna. His mission was to enhance love of Godhead. In the human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya did not invent, see this, in human form of life. Anyway, here Prabhupada is writing, that prayer is there. So, what is that prayer by Rupa Goswami? Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. So that is a prayer. And in human form of life, the highest achievement is attain the platform of pure of love of Godhead. So generally in Vedic culture, what was the achievement in life, human life? So what are the goals of human life? It was very clearly defined: dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Ultimately everyone was supposed to attain moksha, material bondage from material, liberation from material bondage. So Atma is there, we are all Atma. Atma is eternal, it has no birth and death, but in this world, by coming under the influence of material energy of the Lord, we are accepting different kinds of material bodies, birth after birth. This is called reincarnation in modern society. Reincarnation, it is a Greek word, I think. Incarna, again entering into flesh. That is the literal meaning of reincarnation, again entering into flesh. So we are taking material bodies again and again, entering into flesh. Then but we have to liberate ourselves from this material bondage. So this is called bondage, again and again taking birth. Then we attain liberation from material bondage. So in this way, so that is called as liberation, moksha. So we go to a place, realm, where there is no birth, death, old age and disease, where there is no repeated birth, death, old age and disease, eternal life. So that was the concept. So but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he defined fifth goal of life, human life, is to attain love of Godhead. It is even superior to liberation. So even liberation becomes insignificant there. So Lord Chaitanya, maybe you can tell them not to cook in their home, so much prasadam is there. Religious, okay. In human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya did not invent any system. Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of religion as people sometimes assume. Religious systems are meant to show the existence of God, who is then generally approached as cosmic order supplier. You see, I was telling about religious conception, people's religion. Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of religion as people sometimes assume. Religious systems are meant to show existence of God, who is then generally approached as cosmic order supplier. Maybe someone can show them the book, I think. Because we are mostly reading, I'll read and explain. Chaitanya Charitamrita, first volume is there. (41) Adi Leela, 4th chapter, 41. So religious systems are meant to show the existence of God, who is then generally approached as the cosmic order supplier. So you go to, religion means what? You go to God and you ask for some material boons, material desires, and then he becomes order supplier. So like that. But Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental mission is to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Anyone who accepts God as the Supreme can take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna and become a lover of God. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the most magnanimous. So actually we all have feelings and love for God in our heart, but it is in covered state. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is reviving that by this process of chanting. So everyone is looking for this love only. But in the material world we try to find that in material objects, among other human beings. Their lovers, wives, children, whatever, in all these kinds of relationships. But actually we are searching for love of God. God is love. I mentioned that. God is love, not the other way. Love is God. In cinemas, they mention, they teach you that God, love is God, they say. Love is divine, like that, very, very sacred. I was actually looking for that word. It's very sacred and all like that, they say. But actually it is kama, lusted, that's it. But Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental mission is to distribute love of God to everyone. So everyone, every living entity is a lover of God. Every living entity has a relationship with God. Anyone who accepts God as Supreme can take to the process of chanting and become lover of God. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is most magnanimous. This munificent broadcasting of devotional service is possible only for Krishna himself. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has taught the philosophy of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who has surrendered to the Supreme can make further progress by learning to love him. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings go even beyond the teachings of Krishna. So, Krishna, ultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita is Sarva Dharmam Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. You surrender unto me. But even higher than that is loving, learning to love God. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya is specifically meant for those who are cognizant of presence of the Supreme Personality of God, Supreme Godhead, the ultimate control of everything. His mission is to teach people how to dovetail themselves into engagements of transcendental loving service. He is Krishna teaching his own service from the position of devotee. Lord's acceptance of the role of a devotee in eternal form as Lord Shri is another of the Lord's wonderful future. Okay. A conditioned soul cannot reach the absolute personality of Godhead by his imperfect endeavor, and therefore it is wonderful that Lord Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna in the form of Lord Gauranga has made it easy for everyone to approach him. Swarupa Damodar Goswami has described Lord Chaitanya as Krishna himself with the attitude of Radharani. That verse which we were reading. Radha Bhava Duti Suvalitam Navami Krishna Swarupa. Or a combination of Radha and Krishna. The intention of Lord Chaitanya is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. He does not care to think of himself as Krishna because he wants the position of Radharani. We should remember this. Like that. Then it goes a little. Okay, we'll go to next verse. Turn that page, 42nd verse. So there are 5, we were discussing that there are 5 ways of loving God. Out of that 4 are considered here. Dasya Sakya Vatsalya Araye Shrangara Chari Prema Chaturvida Bhakti Adhara. 4 kinds of devotion are the receptacles of 4 kinds of mellows in love of God, namely servitude, friendship, parental affection, and so rasa cannot be translated in English, therefore so mellow word is used. Basically these are 4 ways of loving God. One is dasya, you become servant of God, and then you become friend of God, you become mother and father of God, vatsalya, and then there is shangara, either you become wife, his queen, like in Dwarka there were queens, or his lovers, like gopis. So chari prema chaturvida bhakta yi adhara. So these are 4 kinds of. Then nija nija bhava sabe shreshta kari mane, nija bhava kare Krishna sukha asvadane. So dasya, what are the examples of dasya in Vrindavan? Hanuman and Rama's relationship is dasya, is example for dasya. Servant and master. Hanuman, that is outside Vrindavan. In Vrindavan also there were some gopas who would help Yashoda, their name Chitraka, Paitraka, like that. There are some gopas are there who would help Mother Yashoda in decorating Krishna. So like that they would do some menial services. So that is dasya. Then there are friends of Krishna, Sudama, Sridhama, Bhadrasena. So they were all friends of Krishna. Then Vatsalya, so mother and father, Nanda and Yashoda are mother and father of Krishna. And all their, gopas and gopis of their age, Yashoda and Nanda's age, they all consider Krishna as their son. So that is called as Vatsalya. Then Shrangara. In Shrangara, there are 2 divisions again. One is becoming queen, that is called Swakiya, and Gopis, Parakiya it is. So these are the 4 ways, 4 relationships in which we love Krishna. Then this verse, 43rd verse says, Nija nija bhava sabe shreshta kari mane, nija bhave kare Krishna sukha asvadhane. So every one of these people, they think that their love for Krishna is highest and they are satisfied in that. So, Nija Nija Bhava Sabha Sreshta Karimane Nija Bhave Kare Krishna Sukha Asvadan. Sometime when we hear about this, are we also going to become gopis and dance with Krishna? Like that, people want to go to the higher levels, right, or not, highest level. So, but devotees are not, they are satisfied in their own position. Okay, next. But you can change your rasa if you want, if Krishna wants. If Krishna wants, you can change. There is one incident. There are many incidents, many such pastimes are there. Like Krishna wants to meet Radha, so but he is not allowed by the relatives of Radha. Then what happens? What happens? A covered boy, he will become a calf, and so Krishna, he will become covered boy, he will become what, I am mixing two stories I think here. Anyway, point is that like if Krishna wants to take bath, so someone may become, a covered boy may become water, someone may become, covered boy may become a towel also, like that. In this way, it depends on Krishna, whatever he likes, he wants. But otherwise devotees are satisfied in their own position. Tatastha mane vichara yadi kari sabara sahite shangare adhika madhuri. But impartially, if you see in Shringara Rasa, that Shringara Rasa, what is practiced by gopis, so that is highest, and the sweetness goes on increasing. Like I gave example, sugarcane juice is there, then it becomes molasses, then it becomes sugar candy. So the sweetness goes on becoming, it is condensed more. So similarly, you take from servitude to friendship, friendship to parental relationship, and from parental relationship to conjugal relationship. So it goes on increasing. So Prabhupada in the purport, he says, no one is higher or lower than anyone else in transcendental relationships. You have to turn the page. You are able to see? No one is higher or lower than anyone else in transcendental relationships with the Lord. For in the absolute realm, everything is equal. But although these relationships are absolute, there is also transcendental difference between them. Thus, the transcendental relationships of conjugal love is considered the highest perfection. So, then a quotation from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Yatottaram asoswada visheshollasamai ratirvasanaya swadvi bhasate kapi kasyachit. Yatottaram, one after the other. Uttara, yatottaram. So increasing visheshollasa mayapi, swada visheshollasa. Here. So that swada, sweetness goes on increasing, one above the other. But the love which has the highest taste in the gradual succession of desire manifests in itself in the form of conjugal love. So there is other meaning to this verse actually, little. How the successive relationship includes the love of the previous one, elements of the previous one. Dasya is there in everything, all of them. So friendship, fraternal, so they all are included in the successive relationships. This is a verse from Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5.38. Ataiva madhura rasa kahitara nama swakiya parakiya bhave dvivida samsthana. Therefore that is called as madhura rasa. Shangara rasa is also called as madhura rasa, because it is sweetest. Madhura means what? Sweet it is. It is the most sweetest it is. Therefore it is called. It has two further divisions, namely wedded and unwedded. So Swakiya means he is becoming his queen, and Parakiya means his lover. It is extramarital. It is. Parakiya bhave ati rasera ullasa vrajavina ihara anyatra nahi vasa. There is a great increase of mellow in the unwedded conjugal love mode. Such love is found nowhere but in Vraja. So Vraja vina ihara anyatra nahi vas. So this is only found in Vraja, in Vrindavan. So like that, unwanted. Parakiya rasa. Vrajavadu ganeraye bhava niravadi taramadde Shri Radhaya bhavera avadi. This mood is unbounded in the damsels of Vraja. Here unbounded word is used, but niravadi, Vrajavadu ganeraye bhava niravadi means it has no limit how much they have love for Krishna. This is unlimited, without any restriction, it just goes on flowing. Tara madhye Shri Radhaya bhavera avadi. So the bhavera avadi, avadi means highest embankment, the highest perfection, highest point is found in Shri Radha. So then Prauda nirmala bhava prema sarvottama Krishna madhurya rasa asvada karana. So here Srimati Radha's love is discussed. Prauda nirmala bhava. Prauda, it is very matured. Nirmala bhava, it is pure. How purity of that love is tested? How it is examined or understood? You don't have any personal motives behind that. So that is what is. You don't have any personal motives in that. So to that extent it is nirmala, it is pure, it is. So prauda nirmala bhava prema sarvottama. Prema sarvottama, it is topmost. And Krishnera madhurya rasa asvada karana. It is only she, it is because of her Krishna is interested in that madhurya rasa. That's it. Nothing else. Ataiva sevi bhava angikara khari sadilena nija vancha gauranga Shri Hari. So this is again about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have to read this purport and we'll stop there. Of the four kinds of reciprocation of loving service, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsal, because it's all summary of what we read now. Of the four kinds of reciprocation of loving service, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, Madhurya is considered the fullest, but the conjugal relationship is further divided into two varieties, namely Swakiya and Parakiya. Swakiya is the relationship with Krishna as formally married husband. And Parakiya is relationship with Krishna as a paramour. Expert analysts, that means great acharyas, have decided that the transcendental ecstasy of Parakiya mellow is better because it is more enthusiastic. That word had come, no? Ullas. What is that? Rasera ullas vrajavina. That verse is there. Yatottaram aso swado vishesh ullasamaya. So that is a commentary on that. You see that. Rupa Goswami. Who is the expert analyst here? Rupa Goswami, most prominent among them. It is more enthusiastic. This phase of conjugal love is found in those who have surrendered to Lord in intense love, knowing well that such illicit love with a paramour is not morally approved in society. Of course, it has nothing to do with all these material relationships and all. It has nothing to do, but you have to use some words to explain it. That's why all this illicit word is used. Paramour is word is paramour. It has nothing to do with that. Paramour word is a bad word actually, right, in material society. But you cannot. You have to use some words, right? Is not morally approved in society. The risk involved in such love of Godhead make this emotion superior to the relationship in which such risk is not involved. The validity of such risk, however, is possible only in the transcendental realm. So here this point is there. So here paramour relationship is condemned, right, in material society. So, but in transcendental realm is validated. Swakiya and Parakiya conjugal love of Godhead have no existence in the material world, and the Parakiya is not exhibited anywhere in Vaikuntha, but only in the portion of Goloka Vrindavana known as Vraja. Some devotees think that Krishna is eternally the enjoyer in Goloka Vrindavan, but only sometimes comes to the platform of Vraja to enjoy Parakiya Rasa. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, however, have explained that Krishna's pastimes in Vraja are eternal, like his other activities in Goloka Vrindavan. So Vraja is a So sometimes some Vaishnavas, they think that Krishna's Vraja pastimes are just in the material world. They are not in eternal Goloka like that. So therefore here that point is brought. Vraja is a confidential part of Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna exhibited his Vraja pastimes on the surface of this world, and similar pastimes are eternally exhibited in Vraja in Goloka Vrindavan, where Parakiya Rasa is ever evident, existent. So how this Parakiya Rasa is eternal, that's why this point is brought. In the 3rd chapter of this epic, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has explicitly accepted the fact that Krishna appears in this world at the end of Dwapara age of the 28th Chaturyuga of Vaivasvata Manu and brings with him his Vrajadam, which is the eternal abode of his highest pastimes. As the Lord appears by his own internal potency, so he also brings all his paraphernalia by the same internal potency, without extraneous help. It is further stated here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Parakiya sentiment exists only in that transcendental realm and nowhere else. This highest form of ecstasy can exist only in the most confidential part of the transcendental world. But by the causeless mercy of the Lord, we can have a peep into that invisible Vraja. The transcendental mellow relished by the gopis in Vraja is super excellently featured in Srimati Radharani. Mature assimilation of transcendental humor of conjugal love is represented by Srimati Radharani, whose feelings are incomprehensible even to the Lord himself. This point, So how much she loves Krishna, even Krishna cannot understand that. The intensity of her loving service is the highest form of ecstasy. No one can surpass Srimati Radharani in relishing the qualities of the Lord through this supreme transcendental mellow. Therefore, the Lord himself agreed to assume the position of Radharani in the form of Lord Sri Gauranga. He then relished the highest position of Parakiya Rasa as exhibited in transcendental abode of Vraja. So religion means to know God and to love Him, and that highest love is found in Srimati Radhashtami. This is the essence of what we discussed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any questions, comments? Vraja. ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಒಂದು ಸಲ ಅವರು ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬ್ರಜ, ವೃಂದಾವನ, ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸಲ ಬೃಂದಾವನ ಅಂತ. ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್?
Position is remains same. Like if the person is Dasya, love is increasing, and he will go to Madhurya.
I am saying from one relationship to another relationship, not from one person to another person. So it is from one relationship, in one rasa to another rasa. So in Sakya rasa, the love is more strong than Dasya rasa, and from in Vatsalya rasa, love is even stronger than Sakya rasa, and then in conjugal relationship, in Shringara rasa, love is even stronger than Vatsalya rasa. So persons will not change, they will not go from one to Sakya to but if Krishna wants them to go, they can change, it's possible. Anything else? Hare Krishna.